I'll teach you guys about skin rendering. So this I have already taught you guys the face part as well as this thing. If you want to draw the hair, if you wanted to draw the hair, I have already explained you. Just do this thing and then do the rest by shading and everything. Okay, so I'm not going to teach you because this was very much of a time consuming thing. I'll just darken it a little bit if you want. You know the next thing, right? You have to use a different layer, then lessen this opacity and then work on this. Okay, now that is done. Now regarding the skin, okay, so for the skin you have to use this brush trapezoid 60%. I'm going to explain all the types of brushes in another type of video, not here in the second part, where I'm going to explain a lot about ibis paint and what all you can do. It is kind of an advanced level kind of a thing, so that is there. But for now I can explain to you guys how to do the skin rendering. Starting with, always I will always tell you to use the darker color. So there's the skin color, but the darker one, like the darker one, always you have to put. So starting with this, so you can also use this pen fade for that, because for filling, I suppose pen fade is really good for filling, but the rest of the thing you have to do it in your trapezoid 60%. Always remember this. I have always explained you, even in my texture folding kind of a thing, that always go for triangle. I've told you, always make shades of triangle. See, this also I'm creating a triangle only, because always at that time only it will come beautifully. So like that. So now a little lighter than that before, but not so lighter, but a little lighter. This you should draw it in a different layer, obviously. Okay, like this whole thing should be drawn in a different layer. I'm going to only teach you one hand because there's no use of teaching both the hands, right? So I'm going to teach you one hand and you can do the rest. So you should know where the darker color should be there. So obviously the light is falling in this, in the front. So there will be color here and there will be dark here. Also, this part will be a little darker. Obviously the underarm area where the shadow arises. So it will be darker there. And that's it. So this is done, right? Now, see the hand. How is it looking? Now, you have to use the trapezoid 60%. And then what you should do? You should use again the same color. The same color. A little darker, but not that darker than before here. Okay. Trapezoid 60. And then you have to shade. You have to just make this line that I've drawn with the pen fade thing a very light and kind of a muddy kind of a line. Can you see how because of this brush, can you see how it became so soft? And the same thing you have to do here, but with the same color like this, you have to make it smooth. Always make a triangle. And this is too much of a light, I suppose, so you have to just cover it. I say that's too much of light, right? Triangle, triangle, triangle. Then the next step is drawing with the lighter layer. Use the lighter layer, because obviously she is fair, so draw accordingly. But yeah, after doing the shading part, No, I have to like. So after, you can do it with me actually. I have sent you the layout, right? So you can practice it with me whenever you will start this video, which can be helpful for you also. Because when you practice it with me, you will be able to do it. Otherwise you'll forget something or the other and you won't be able to do it. And that happens. So see, after this, now what you have to do is, see, this is very darker now, like it's too much dark, right? So you don't have to make it that dark, just make it light first, but make first this thing light. And again, use the lightest color available. Not the lightest color, obviously you have to choose the color according to her type. Okay, and this is the end. See, always remember this point. Suppose this point, when the light falls here now, this will shine more, and this, because there's a depression here, this will be darker, and this will shine more, this will also be a little darker compared to, but this part over here, it will be darker, it will be lighter. So you have to always remember that. So when you'll do that now, so automatically there will be a depression that will be created here. See, so you don't have to draw a depression specifically there. So yeah, that's how, see, so how beautifully can be done, like really beautiful. What you can do, obviously you have to make a little bit of a depression here and make it with this. You have to show that there are like two hands on, and that's how you make two hands. It's a very making hand is a very simple process. If you will know it, you will draw it very easily. It's very simple, and it's like you don't have to learn also. Making hands are the like simplest thing apart from everything else. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so it's all about shading, it's all about using different colors, it's all about using. Now what I have to do is like use the velo. I don't use it in different opacity. My opacity is always in one layer. I do all the layering and everything, but since you can have to change or something like that, that can happen for you guys. So I will obviously tell you guys to do it in different layers, but so I'm doing it in the single layer. Okay, so after that, not much is needed here for this. Now next thing is like you have to lessen the opacity a little bit and then cover this thing up like this. Yeah, can you see how this thing is made now? It looks like actually, there is this depression over here. So that is how, because we, what I do is I lessen the opacity and then I draw it on top of it, like just once, that's it, or twice sometimes depending upon the shade. And very smoothly I'll draw, so that this depression is created. See here, there's depression is created. Now that can actually make it look real. Obviously it will make it look more real, and obviously that happens. So that is there. Then complete the other ones also by this thing here. There'll be depression because hands, obviously, all you should always remember this thing, that I'll create this layer because I have to delete it. So you have to always remember this thing, that hands anatomy is like obviously like this. So whenever you're drawing this also, you have to keep this in mind. Okay, maybe I'll not delete it. See, that's, I have to delete it. So always keep that in mind and then draw. Now since this is the darker part, but should not be that much darker, so again I will do the same thing that I've did earlier, that is lesser the opacity, and you have to go accordingly according to the, and then use the darker one to just cover the layering stuff. So did you get my point? How you do skin renderings? Because this is the way you can achieve skin rendering. And obviously the cloth should not be like this. If you're drawing a cloth, like that's why I'm telling you, always do the rest everything in Iris Paint. You can just do the first primary details on top, then you can make it look realistic. Now, so did you got what I'm trying to say? So since see in here there is this thing here, and I made like this. Okay, so I can do that. I can reduce it. No problem with that. You can do that also. It's not a big deal. Yeah, just see how it is and accordingly shape it. Okay, so it was still here, I suppose, right? No, it was still top actually. So it yeah, so it was still top. So till here. Okay, so how can you draw this? It's easy actually. You have to just make it till here. Not a big deal actually. So make it till here. Always told you to draw pointed, pointed, pointed every time. And then you have to draw again. Shh. These people shout a lot. And that's how it's done. So can you see how the hand looks now? Can you see how it was looking earlier, and can you see how it is looking now? So that's how it is done. Now, the last and not the least is the white light. I've always told you, I've always explained you. If you are like following me on Instagram, you will know that I always tell you guys to do the white coloring at the end. It is a kind of a highlight that you should put. To do is applying the highlights. First, start by applying the highlights in the shoulder region, and go downwards, and then to the hand, to the finger region. So that's how the highlight is done. The highlights are already always done in a very less opacity. So keep that, if it is a white color, always keep your highlight color as white, and after keeping the color as white, you have to lessen the opacity. So lessen the opacity around 70 to 60%, and then only like start applying the highlights. And after that, you have to apply the color that is there, like near to that highlight color, so that that highlight doesn't show up that much. And yeah, that's how it's done. That's how this highlighting and everything is done. That's how basically the hands are done. So I hope it was an easy learn for you all, and I hope to see your work on it. So I hope this was informative. Thank you.